Today, police finished a zoning project to break down and better patrol vast wooded areas inhabited by the city's homeless. The call for an audit came from a group of very passionate residents who are angry about their bills and how their rates have been determined. It appears they have support from city officials. What hurt the county's rankings were high numbers of obesity, smoking, and teen pregnancy in the area. This is also the 5th year in a row that Union County has placed last in the state of Florida. Part of what went into each county score was the access and maintenance to the public parks. As you can see, the tennis courts behind me are already getting an uplift just a day after the scores were released. For the past 4 days straight, groups have met here on the corner of University and 13th Street in order to wave flags and show signs to raise awareness for what is going on in their home country of Venezuela. One of the events cadets had to pass this morning was swimming from one side of the pool to the other, while keeping this 7.8-pound rifle above their heads and out of the water. Although you can't get pulled over for texting alone, you can get pulled over for another violation, such as speeding, for example, and then you're liable for double the charges. Right now, we're in Sweetwater Branch Tent Camp, which is home to around 40 residents. This is what caused GPD to zone the area into 3 distinct areas: green, orange, and yellow, marked off by the trees around the camp. While there's never an exact figure, the amount of people that receive mail here at St. Francis House averages around a couple hundred. Every day, a stack of mail around this size arrives addressed to the homeless people in the Gainesville community. This Saturday, advocates of Venezuela are organizing an International Day of Recognition where they encourage peaceful demonstrations to show support for the struggle. You can visit WUFT.org for more information and the full report. They say zoning is a simple solution that will have a big effect. Reporting from the newsroom, Kayla Gaskins, WUFT News. The call for an audit came from a group of very passionate residents who are angry about their bills and how their rates have been determined. It appears they have support from city officials.
Gainesville's Audit, Finance, and Legislative Committee met last night to discuss a special audit of Gainesville regional utilities. Some GRU customers want to know why they have the highest electric bills in the state and what can be done to fix that.
Community can ill afford this. Lower income people are suffering. They're shivering in the winter. They're sweating in the summertime because they can't afford these sky-high bills, and it has to stop. And we can't afford not to have an external audit, special audit of GRU.
Last night's meeting was prompted by concerned residents who gathered more than 1,000 signatures in a petition for the audit.
Last night, Alachua County residents gathered here at City Hall to have their opinions heard and their questions answered.
What has residents concerned at the moment is the shifting of about $116 million in costs to GRU customers without proper authorization last fall. That money went toward the biomass plant.
And it will cost every GRU customer, 93,000 GRU customers, over $1,100 each as a result of this negligence.
Gainesville Mayor Ed Brady agreed that a forensic audit of the company is a good starting place. Residents say the issue is too great to ignore.
Because over 10,000 people every year get their utilities shut off because our utility bills are way too high.
Mayor Ed Brady and Commissioner Randy Wells are the 2 city commissioners on the audit committee. Both supported the request to bring the audit question to the full commission. GRU has declined to comment until further action is taken. Reporting live from the newsroom, Kayla Gaskins, WUFT News.
It only took a split second for Vicki Dennis's life to change forever.
I have seizures. I am blind in my left eye. I can't open my eye. I lost my job, I lost my retirement, and I lost all my independence.
It all happened while Vicki was stopped at a red light on her way home. A young man wasn't paying attention and ran into her while driving full speed. He was texting.
Because it just takes a second or two of your eyes not being 100% focused on what's happening around you or in front of you or behind you, and you can run into something, injure yourself, or worse, possibly kill yourself or someone else, and that's not something that should not have to live with that.
The Alachua County Sheriff's Office has not given out a single ticket since the law took effect almost 5 months ago. The city of Waldo has already given out 10 tickets. Marion County ranks in the middle with just 4.
Very serious issue, and it certainly needs to be addressed because people die unnecessarily because of it. So while It is not maybe as strong as law enforcement would like it to be. It is certainly something, and something is better than nothing.
Enforcing the law is difficult because texting is considered a secondary offense. In order to give a ticket, officers must first also witness a primary offense.
Although you can't get pulled over for texting alone, you can get pulled over for another violation, such as speeding, for example, and then you're liable for double the charges.
That's exactly what happened to Lauren Hersick as she drove through Waldo on her way to the Jacksonville airport.
The next thing I know, lights were going off behind me. I was so confused, and they said that I was going 39 and a 35, so I was able to be pulled over for speeding, because I guess you can't be pulled over unless it goes along with something else. And then he told me I was texting and driving, so.
Ohio passed a similar law 2 years ago, and the number of distracted driving-related crashes has remained virtually the same. Vicki Dennis says the law needs to be tougher in order to make a difference.
The law doesn't have any teeth in it. They need to change it, because in the end, it's not a victimless crime.
While she hopes the law does change, she says the best way is for drivers to be aware of the consequences.
But just tell young people it's not worth that phone call, because your life or other people's lives can be permanently damaged.
Kayla Gaskins, WUFT News.
Kayla, it wasn't exactly warm this morning, as Deborah just told us.
No, absolutely not, Lauren. It wasn't. When I got out there, it was 5:30 and the air was a chilly 50 degrees. Not the kind of weather you want to go swimming in, but the training will help keep these cadets alive even when they face combat.
To become an officer in the United States Army, cadets must pass a number of rigorous tests. One of those is the Water Combat Survival Test. The test has 4 different parts, each designed to teach survival methods in the water. Freddie Stewart, a senior cadet, helped lead the training this morning.
There was basically a 98% pass, so we're very proud of our cadets and proud of the training that they have accomplished today.
Some of the events are harder than others. What was the hardest part about this morning?
Treading water for 5 minutes was pretty hard. With these, like in tennis shoes, it's a lot harder than bare feet. So.
One of the events cadets had to pass this morning was swimming from one side of the pool to the other, while keeping this 7.8-pound rifle above their heads and out of the water.
You're basically supposed to keep the rifle above the water, because in a combat situation, you don't want your rifle under the water, because then it may jam or malfunction on you in combat.
So how do cadets prepare for this? Freddie says it's all in your head. Staying mentally strong is half the battle.
We try to instill that if you believe in yourself and overcome your fears of anything, that you can possibly do anything that you put your mind to.
It was a cold, early morning, but the successful training left ROTC leaders tired yet proud of their troops.
Ready to go to sleep, but this training was very well done, and I'm proud of our cadets, and go Gators, obviously.
The test is administered every year. The cadets who fail will take the test again and again until they pass.
All right, thank you so much, Kayla. That is one way to start your morning, I guess. But coming up next on WUFT News at 6, a 10th grade